In the fifth part of this lecture series, we prepared journal entries for the following transactions of Brown Enterprises. In this episode, let's assume that Brown Enterprises paid Silver Company 50% on September 13 and the balance 4 days later. Meaning to say, we have to disregard this September 17 transaction where Brown Enterprises paid the entire or full amount owed to Silver Company. Instead of Brown paying in full, we have to assume that the entity made only partial payment of 50% on September 13 and the balance, the remaining 50%, was paid 4 days later on September 17. Got it? Before this payment on September 13, the accounts payable of Brown Enterprises to Silver Company amounts to 40,000 pesos because prior to September 13, Brown had one transaction with Silver. That was on September 7, where we credited accounts payable for 40,000. A transaction related to that purchase was the payment of freight the following day, September 8. But that did not affect the accounts payable of Brown to Silver Company. Therefore, 40,000 pesos was the balance of the accounts payable before this transaction of 50% payment made by Brown to Silver on September 13. How much is the 50% of 40,000 pesos? 20,000. Because 20,000 pesos was the amount of the accounts payable paid by Brown to Silver Company on September 13, that 20,000 must be debited or credited by Brown to its accounts payable. Debited. Why? Because from the viewpoint of Brown Enterprises, its accounts payable decreased upon payment to Silver Company. Since accounts payable is a liability, the normal balance of which is credit, to decrease, it must be debited on September 13, the date of payment. Now, was there any other account of Brown which either increased or decreased by the payment on September 13? There must be, because notice we only have one debited account here. There is the so-called dual effect principle or dual aspect concept, which is the foundation of the double entry bookkeeping system. According to the dual effect principle, an accounting transaction affects at least two accounts. So what else increased or decreased from the point of view of Brown Enterprises? The cash. Increased or decreased? Decreased, of course, from the word paid. When you pay for something, your cash decreases. So upon payment by Brown, its cash decreased. And being an asset, to decrease, the cash must be credited. The important question now is, how much cash did Brown pay to Silver, which must be our credit to cash? Because remember, there is this credit term of 1/10 n/20. When there is a credit term, every time accounts payable is paid, and even when accounts receivable is collected, you have to consider it and determine if the buyer is entitled to a cash discount or not. When did Brown make the purchase from Silver? September 7. When did Brown pay? September 13. From September 7 to September 13, how many days? 6 days only. Is that within the discount period of 10 days? Yes. So is Brown entitled to the 1% discount upon partial payment on September 13? If you watch part 4 of this video series, most probably you know the answer. In some countries, the answer is yes. But in others, like the Philippines, the answer normally, especially for classroom purposes, is no. Because Brown made only a partial payment. And the problem does not say that Silver Company grants discount for partial payment. Recall what I said in the 4th episode of this lecture series. In the Philippines and some other countries, the buyer is normally, at least for classroom purposes, not entitled to a cash discount for partial payment, even if the partial payment is made within the discount period, unless the problem specifically states that the seller grants discount for payment within the discount period, even if the payment is only partial. In other words, when the problem is silent as to the granting of discount for partial payment, cash discount is given only if payment is made within the discount period and the payment is already full or complete, not partial. That being said, how much must be our credit to cash? 20,000 also, same as the amount of the debit to accounts payable. There is no credit to purchase discount here for Brown Enterprises because the entity is not entitled to a discount for partial payment, since the problem does not say that Silver gives or grants discount to its customers for partial payment. To finish our recording on September 13, let's have the explanation. How about the payment made by Brown for the balance on September 17, 4 days after the initial payment? What must be the journal entry? How many percent is the remaining balance of the accounts payable after the payment on September 13? 50%. That is 100% minus the 50% initial payment equals 50% balance. How much is that remaining balance then? 20,000 also. Therefore, on September 17, 20,000 must also be the debit to accounts payable. Now, must we record a purchase discount for Brown? Remember, on this date, September 17, the entity already completed the payment of its accounts payable to Silver. So is Brown entitled now to a discount upon payment of the balance on September 17? September 7, the date of purchase, up to September 17, the date of full payment. How many days? 10 days. Within or beyond the discount period? Within the discount period. Therefore, we must record a purchase discount in the books of the buyer, Brown Enterprises. Of course, from Silver's point of view, that discount is called sales discount. But from Brown's perspective, that is purchase discount, the normal balance of which is credit. But how much must be the credit to purchase discount? Just like what I discussed in part 4, many students commit a mistake in computing the amount of the discount in this type of transaction. Many would base the 1% discount on this 20,000 pesos debit to accounts payable. That is wrong. Instead, the discount must be based not only on this 20,000 pesos on September 17, but also on this other 20,000 pesos on September 13. Or in short, on the full amount of the accounts payable recorded on the date of purchase, which is 40,000. Since there were no purchase returns and allowances made which could have affected the 40,000 accounts payable. Because come to think of it, if Brown Enterprises is entitled to a discount on this September 17 payment, how much more then must it be entitled to a discount on its payment 4 days earlier, September 13? On September 13, no discount was given to Brown yet because the payment by then was only partial. However, on September 17, after completing payment or making full payment already of its liability to Silver within the discount period, a discount must then be granted already to Brown for both its payment on September 17 and September 13. That's why the purchase discounts to be credited on September 17 must be 40,000 pesos times 1% or 40,000 times 0.01 in decimal equals 400. Now, you may want to clarify, what if Brown was able to complete the payment of its accounts payable beyond the discount period of 10 days? Let's say final payment in full was made on September 20, which is more than 10 days already from the date of purchase or date of sale. Should we record any discount? Of course not. Even for its partial payment within the discount period on September 13, Brown is not entitled to a discount because it failed to make full or complete payment within the discount period. Going back now to our journal entry, what must be the other credit here? Cash, of course. But how much? 20,000 minus 400 equals 19,600. So that the total amount of the debit is equal to that of the credit. And finally, the explanation. To record final payment of account, net of discount. Thanks again for watching.